A warm welcome to all our viewers. I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra and you're watching another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. India and Fiji are deepening their partnership with a wider scope of cooperation. In New Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Fijian counterpart Sitiveni Rabuka denounced terrorism, exchanged key MOUs and committed to closer collaboration in energy, trade and education. Defence ties were also in focus, with the announcement of a defence attaché to be posted in Suva aimed at strengthening security coordination. The two leaders also underlined their shared vision of shaping a collective, stronger voice for the global south. Take a look.
India and Fiji are taking their partnership to new heights, expanding cooperation across defence, climate action and sustainable development. The two nations have agreed to work more closely on regional and global challenges while also strengthening people-to-people ties. In New Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Fijian counterpart Sitiveni Rabuka held wide-ranging talks reaffirming shared priorities.
हम एकमत हैं कि आतंकवाद पूरी मानवता के लिए बहुत बड़ी चुनौती है.
Both leaders reiterated zero tolerance for terrorism, condemned the Pahalgam attack and called for action against radicalization, terror financing and misuse of emerging technologies. The meeting saw the exchange of several MOUs covering political cooperation, trade, agriculture, education, healthcare, mobility, defense, capacity building and cultural ties. The two sides reaffirmed commitment to climate action, Mission Life, sustainable development and the Blue Pacific 2050 strategy while pledging to advance renewable energy and biofuels through the Global Biofuels Alliance.
क्लाइमेट चेंज फिजी के लिए क्रिटिकल थ्रेट है. इस संदर्भ में हम रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, खासकर सौर ऊर्जा में साथ मिलकर काम कर रहे हैं. इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस, कोएलिशन फॉर डिजास्टर रेजिलिएंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और ग्लोबल बायोफ्यूल्स अलायंस में हम एक साथ हैं. अब हम डिजास्टर रिस्पांस में भी फिजी की क्षमताओं को बढ़ाने में सहयोग देंगे. फ्रेंड्स, हम ग्लोबल साउथ की विकास यात्रा में भी सहयात्री हैं. हम एक ऐसे वर्ल्ड ऑर्डर के निर्माण में भागीदार हैं जहां ग्लोबल साउथ के इंडिपेंडेंस, आइडियाज और आइडेंटिटी को सम्मान मिले.
For Fiji, India's support in areas such as renewable energy, healthcare, education and technology represents not only a strengthening of bilateral relations but also an investment in the wider Pacific community. Both sides agree that their cooperation extends beyond immediate economic gains. It reflects a commitment to shaping a more inclusive, peaceful and sustainable global order.
We stand together on the same stage, not only here, but on the same stage in the world, promoting peace and stability, welfare and well-being, and also development. And we look forward to continuing the great cooperation we have. We have been fortunate to be part of your global efforts in solarization and medicine research and the use of your recent discoveries and inventions. We can only benefit.
Defence and maritime cooperation emerged as a major pillar in the India-Fiji dialogue, with both nations agreeing to expand security engagement in the Indo-Pacific. A key announcement was the establishment of a defence attaché post at the High Commission of India in Suva, which is expected to significantly enhance coordination and information sharing between the two countries.
India-Fiji relations are definitely very important. Firstly, it gives us an outreach into the South Pacific. We are extending our areas of, if not influence, but partnerships. And especially in matters of defense, India is now going to be posting a defense attaché in Suva, the capital of Fiji. So that gives us access and ability to understand the military domains, the maritime domains in a better manner, as well as our defense attaché there could also coordinate and connect with other Pacific island nations out there.
From countering terrorism to tackling climate change, from deepening defense ties to advancing sustainable growth, India and Fiji are charting a new path of partnership. Together, the two nations are not only strengthening bilateral relations but also shaping a collective voice of the Global South towards a future that is secure, sustainable, and inclusive.
US President Donald Trump's 50% tariffs have posed a challenge for India, but the country has turned it into an opportunity. Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of a self-reliant India, bold measures are being rolled out to boost domestic industries, reduce dependence on imports, and expand local manufacturing. Far from being discouraged, India is demonstrating resilience, innovation, and resolve to emerge stronger and more competitive on the global stage. A report.
In today's fast-changing global economy, India has consistently proven that no challenges is too great when faced with determination and self-belief. With every setback, the nation has found new ways to turn obstacles into opportunities, strengthening its industries and expanding its global footprint. The latest example comes in the form of US President Donald Trump's decision to impose 50% tariffs. Far from weakening India, the move has only added fresh momentum to the country's journey of resilience, innovation, and leadership on the world stage. Although the tariffs come in retaliation to India's increased purchase of Russian oil, New Delhi views the development differently, not as a roadblock, but as a chance to showcase its economic confidence, diversify its trade networks, and reaffirm its commitment to self-reliance.
आज भारत ने आत्मनिर्भरता को विकसित भारत के निर्माण का आधार बना दिया है। अपने किसानों, अपने मछुआरों, अपने पशुपालकों, अपने उद्यमियों के दम पर भारत तेजी से विकास के रास्ते पर चल रहा है, आत्मनिर्भरता के रास्ते पर आगे बढ़ रहा है। दुनिया में आर्थिक स्वार्थ वाली राजनीति सबको अपना करने में लगा है, उसे हम भली भांति देख रहे हैं।
From small businesses to larger trading communities, the response is clear. India is ready to look beyond traditional markets and stand firm against one-sided pressures. The spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat is resonating across industries from textiles to leather, from small vendors to large exporters. Across India's bazaars and industrial hubs, the sentiment is the same. If one market closes its doors, India will open many more. Entrepreneurs say the focus must be on strengthening domestic demand, promoting local consumption, and building new export bridges with trusted partners in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East.
हम लोगों को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कोशिश ये करनी चाहिए कि कोई भी अपना सामान इंडिया में बेचें, ज़्यादातर बाहर भेजने का। अगर एक्सपोर्ट करना है कहीं तो ये छोड़ के दूसरे देश में एक्सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं। जैसे कि बहुत दिनों से रसिया हम लोग का दोस्त रह चुका है, या और भी मिडिल ईस्ट में कोई देश है उसमें भी जा सकता है, तो दूसरी जगह एक्सपोर्ट करें। लेकिन यूएस अगर कोई चीज़ लगाता है उसके वजह से हम लोग को डरना नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि अपना स्टैंड क्लियर रखना चाहिए।
For many traders, the tariffs are not seen as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to strengthen ties with alternative partners from Africa to Asian, from the Gulf to Europe. With a young workforce, rising production capacity, and a reputation to reliability, India's exporters believe that the nation is in a strong position to pivot towards these regions. Traders argue that relying too heavily on one market has always been risky, and the current tariffs only underline the importance of diversification.
हमें लगता है कि ये सर्वाइव नहीं कर पाएंगे, और ट्रम्प जो फैसले ले रहे हैं वो एक तरफा ले रहे हैं, जबकि सहयोगी राष्ट्र इंडिया होने के बावजूद भी उनसे बिना पूछे वो अपना डिसीजन ले रहे हैं। तो हमें लगता है कि अब हमें यूएस की जगह अन्य मार्केट की खोज करनी पड़ेगी हमारे व्यापार को बढ़ावा देने के लिए।
Export leaders stress that India's global outlook is far bigger than the American market. With a population of 1.4 billion at home and growing demand worldwide, India's economic scale gives it a natural advantage.
நாங்கள் வந்து உலக அளவில் வந்து இந்த வியாபாரம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். இது அமெரிக்காங்கிறது வெறும் 39,000 கோடி தான். இந்தியா 140 கோடிங்க, அதாவது 4 ஒரு பங்கு இருக்காங்க அமெரிக்கா. ஆனால் வந்து உலக அளவில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 820 கோடி இருக்காங்க. அதில் அமெரிக்கா வந்து 39 போது நாங்கள் மீதி இருக்கிற நாட்டோட நாங்கள் தொழில் தொடர்பு வச்சாவே எங்களுக்கு வந்து போதுமான அளவு ஆயிருங்க.
Analysts say the tariffs are an opportunity in disguise. With manufacturing incentives, Make in India schemes, and expanding South-South cooperation, India can use this moment to boost domestic production and carve new markets globally. This shift is expected to accelerate India's role as a trusted supply chain hub in Asia, while also reducing overdependence on any single country.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
Japan's Suzuki Motor will invest $8 billion in India over the next 5 to 6 years, its chairman said on August 26, as production began on the automaker's first electric vehicle. India will be the global production hub for Suzuki Motors electric cars, with plans to export vehicles to 100 countries, including back to Japan and markets in Europe, despite a slowdown in sales of EVs. Indonesian police used tear gas and water cannons in Jakarta on August 25 to disperse demonstrators attempting to storm parliament. Hundreds of protesters rallied against what they described as lawmakers' excessive salaries and benefits. Some in the crowd hurled stones and set off fireworks at riot police during the clashes. Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un will attend an upcoming military parade in Beijing, marking the first public appearance of the two leaders alongside President Xi Jinping in a show of collective defiance amid Western pressure. Against the backdrop of China's growing military might during the Victory Day parade on September 3, the three leaders will project a major show of solidarity not just between China and the global south, but also with sanctions hit Russia and North Korea.
Year after year, Pakistan finds itself caught in the same cycle. Floods arrive, warnings are issued, and villagers are left stranded with little real help. Billions meant for flood defences have vanished into corruption and inefficiency, leaving people exposed and unprotected. As waters rise, so does the question: when will Pakistan safeguard its people instead of abandoning them?
Floodwaters are once again wreaking havoc in Pakistan. Rising levels in the Satluj River have inundated villages in Punjab province, forcing thousands to the brink of displacement. Rescue teams have been urging residents to evacuate immediately, but many villagers remain trapped, clinging to their homes, livestock, and only means of livelihood. But beyond the immediate danger lies a deeper crisis: Pakistan's repeated failure to prepare for floods. Since the devastating floods of 2010, billions have been allocated to the Federal Flood Commission and disaster authorities. Yet, year after year, when rivers overflow, the same scenes play out: hurried warnings, makeshift rescues, and helpless villagers abandoned to their fate. Officials often blame climate change, but for the people on the ground, the disaster feels man-made, born of corruption and incompetence. The villagers' despair highlights how little has changed. For them, the so-called relief operations look more like a performance than real help.
ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 11-22 ਵਾਲੇ ਵੀ ਆਏ ਨੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 1122 ਵਾਲੇ ਵੀ ਆਏ ਨੇ। ਕਿਹਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸੇ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਵੋ, ਤੇ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਸਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਜਾਈਏ, ਕਿਹੜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਰ ਜਾ ਸਕਨੇ? ਨਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਹੈ, ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਬਾਤ ਹੈ। ਮਜ਼ਦੂਰ ਬੰਦੇ ਆ, ਦਿਹਾੜੀਆਂ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ।
Villagers' words reflect the helplessness of countless families who have nowhere to turn. With no alternative shelter and no government plan for their rehabilitation, evacuation becomes an impossible choice. Instead of safety, villagers are left with uncertainty and fear, while officials continue to issue statements from afar.
लोग कुछ हैं जो अभी तक अपने घरों में बैठे हुए हैं, कुछ जो है ना निकल गए हैं पीछे, लेकिन अगर पानी की सतह बढ़ती है तो फिर बाई फोर्स भी जो है ना यहाँ से इवैक्यूएशन की जाएगी। काम जो है ना वो गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से या ज़िली इंतज़ामिया की तरफ से ज़बरदस्ती जो है इवैक्यूएशन अभी तक नहीं करवाई जा रही।
For those who stay away, survival is becoming harder by the hour. Livestock, their only source of income, remains trapped in rising waters. Food supplies are scarce and rescue measures fall painfully short.
माल मवेशी हैं वो फंसे हुए हैं, ये छोटी बेड़ियों के ऊपर तो माल नहीं आ सकते वापसी। हुकूमत को चाहिए इसके लिए कोई इंतजामात करे, कोई के बड़े बेड़ों का बंदोबस्त किया जाए और लोगों को इधर से निकाला जाए, ठीक है, और खुराक का भी बंदोबस्त किया जाए।
The suffering of villagers underscores the lack of progress. Stranded livestock, hungry families, and insufficient rescue support reveal the emptiness of government assurances. Pakistan's floods are not just a natural disaster, they are a government disaster. Protection funds have been squandered, defenses never built, and promises never kept. Now, as waters rise again, the state's failure is laid bare. Instead of protection, people are left with warnings. Instead of relief, they face abandonment.
The 10-day festival of Ganesh Chaturthi, also known as Vinayaka Chaturthi, began in India with devotees installing idols of Lord Ganesh in homes and public pandals. Considered the remover of obstacles and the symbol of prosperity, Lord Ganesha's birthday is celebrated with prayers, rituals and traditional music. In many cities across the country, the air is filled with the beats of dhols and the chants of Ganpati Bappa Moria. Take a look.
The iconic festival of Ganesh Chaturthi, also known as Ganesh Utsav, has commenced with great fervour across the nation. This festival pays homage to Lord Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, and marks the celebration of his birth. Revered as the harbinger of wisdom, prosperity, and new beginnings, Lord Ganesha is often worshipped before any significant venture, be it a spiritual pursuit, academic journey, or business enterprise. Each year, his birth is celebrated with a 10-day festival marked by devotion, rituals, and community festivals. The celebrations begin with the installation of clay idols of Ganesha, beautifully adorned with flowers and lights, either in private homes or in community pandals. In Maharashtra, the heartland of Ganesh Utsav, the festival began on 27th August with grand processions, the rhythmic beats of traditional drums, and streets alive with devotion and celebration. In the capital city of Mumbai, eco-friendly Ganesh idols are displayed across markets, showcasing a shift towards sustainable celebrations.
मैं पिछले 10 से 12 साल से ये पेपर गणपति बना रहा हूँ और पेपर गणपति का सबसे बड़ा यूएसपी ये है कि ये लाइट वेट है, टूटता फूटता नहीं है, ब्रेकेज के चांसेस ना के बराबर है और थर्डली ये बहुत लाइट है और फिर से पानी में डिसॉल्व भी हो जाता है। थर्ड, इसका सबसे बड़ा फैक्टर जो है, जो हम लोग मटेरियल यूज करते हैं, इट इज कैल्शियम पाउडर, पेपर पल्प और अंदर फिर से पेपर की पेस्टिंग्स होती है। तो सबसे बड़ा फैक्टर इसका ये है कि पेपर जो हम लोग यूज कर रहे हैं वो पूरी तरह से रिकवर हो सकता है।
With community spirit at its heart, Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations will continue until Anant Chaturdashi, when idols are immersed in water, signifying Lord Ganesha's return to his divine abode. More than a religious ritual, Ganesh Utsav is a grand expression of culture, unity and devotion, filling the air with festive energy. More than a religious ritual, Ganesh Utsav is a grand expression of culture, unity and devotion, filling the air with festive energy. Across India, devotees are marking the occasion with deep reverence and creativity. At the ancient rock-cut temple in Sivaganga, Tamil Nadu, devotees are lining up in long queues for a glimpse of Lord Ganesha, with strict security arrangements in place. In Chennai, a unique Ganesh idol made from 7,500 books, including 5,000 copies of the Bhagavad Gita, is drawing devotees in large numbers, showcasing the diverse ways the festival is being celebrated. In Guwahati too, large crowds have gathered at Ganesh temples to offer prayers.
गणेश चतुर्थी है तो पूजा करने के लिए ही आया हूँ और अच्छा लगता है, मन का शांति मिलता है पूजा करने से। साल में एक बार आना, तो वैसे ही घर परिवार सबका भला चाहती हूँ और पूरा मतलब असम का लोगों को भी अच्छे से रखे, भगवान जी सबको भला रखे।
As the chants of Ganpati Bappa Moria echo across cities and towns, Ganesh Chaturthi continues to unite millions in prayer, joy and togetherness. From traditional rituals to creative expressions, the festival stands as a symbol of India's cultural vibrancy and collective spirit. And when the idols are immersed, the ritual carries with it a deeper message of letting go, of embracing change, and of welcoming new beginnings with hope, harmony, and positivity. It is a reminder that while the idols dissolve into the waters, the blessings of Lord Ganesha remain in the hearts of devotees, guiding them toward wisdom, prosperity, and unity in the days to come.
From homes to grand pandals, the spirit of Ganesh Chaturthi echoes across the nation. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.